Hello, welcome to the stream. It is brewing day. Gonna be trying to make Jeskai Control. That is one of the big things on my to-do list, among some other things in terms of trying out different things, as well as playing midweek magic. Gotta get in our weekly midweek magic to make progression on the quest. And well, we get to earn some things. Maybe I'll earn a mythic wild card because I'm gonna be spending some mythics today. So what is this? What was the challenge today? Each week try out. Okay, anyways, 60 card deck, only using standard cards from the foundations and the last 3 standard sets. Okay. With only these standard sets to work with, you need to find cutting edge strategies to find victory. So basically, order rotation. Oh no, I don't have any decks put together. All right, well, past few sets. Oh, that is actually pretty small standard, but you know, Duskmorn had some bangers, so maybe we will do quite all right. I feel like it's a bit of tradition to try and brew something in mono green here. So what do we have in terms of options? Llanowar Elves definitely gives us... Wait. We had so many elves. Oh no, we can just do elves. Okay. Do I have an elf deck already that I need to just modify? What isn't legal in this elf deck? Rustvine Cultivator, Stalwart, Loam Speaker, Visionary. Okay, so that there are some holes in the strategy, but it's probably fine. Back to the quest for the midweek magic event. Make a new deck. And let's play some elves. Allborn Preserver is quite cute. Archdruid, Curious Perfect. Sure, some Rex Sages for some interaction. Tyvar. Actually, do we need Tyvar if we're gonna go play Druid of the Cowl because he gives us some more ramp? There are not that many one-drop elves. That's kind of a concern. Wow. There's only Llanowar elves? Wow. Okay. That's a little problematic, I would say. You could play Infestation Sage, but it's not that great. Could play a Gruul elf deck. Guess we could add Lathril, but Lathril is not that great in a best of one, or like a 1v1 rather. So I guess that's most of the elves we're gonna be playing. Could play Fierce Empath, but we have the tutor in the rhythm of the wild here, or nature's rhythm. And then we can just put Craterhoof. Sorry, my keyboard's probably quite loud. Yeah, we want some copies of Craterhoof. 24 lands. Generally don't think we want that. What can we play as additional cards that fit into the plan? Are there any more 2-drop elves that we think are good? No, I don't think we have that much going on in terms of the 2-drops. Okay, so could play Defend the Rider as some protection. Do like that. Bushwhack we have access to because we got reprinted in Foundations. That's nice. Dragon Sniper. Pretty. That's a cool card, I have to say. Just 1-drop. keywords galore. Wait, that's Vigilance Death Touch? That's kind of silly. One drop Mana Dork in Molt Tender could be nice as well. It's kind of slow though. Huh. Heirloom. Ooze. Hate on some graveyards. Mana Dorks. Definitely want as many Mana Dorks as possible. So I guess Twitching Doll is another option for Mana Dorks. And give it a go with 22 lands. Just elf it up. See if we can get to 3 wins quick. I don't remember. What were the other things? Think about trying. Oh, I wanted to revisit the... Ooh, this hand's kind of atrocious. Alright, that is better, I guess. But I wanted to revisit the Mobilize deck. See if we can add some to it. Okay, free win. We'll take it. Ooh, we did get a mythic that I already owned. That's not great. Alright. Wow. Okay, this opener is exactly what you want to see. Hello. I feel like Tammy is waving like goodbye in that, but I don't know if I have a better hello emote. Whoa. We had the same thoughts, opponent. Play the druid. Alright. Play Llanowar Elves and Druid. Nature's Rhythm for another Elvish Archdruid, maybe? And then we have one in the graveyard, one in our hand, and I think we should just have enough mana to go crazy. Forgot that this card is legal in Standard. Opponent has quite a bit of mana available, but we just need to do this for 8. And I think that should be lethal. Everything gets plus 6. That's Predator Hoof. GG. Alright, one more win. Okay, Llanowar Elves, very good. Llanowar Elves Archdruid. Also have Defend the Rider. Okay. I think we're just cool to run out the Arch Druid. I guess they have a white source, so they could be playing some sort of removal. Kind of silly how I wanted to tap that. We can use this to make a token on their end step. This will just give us one more creature for when we tutor out Raider Hoof. Interesting. Create a 1/1. Land drops absolutely fine. We'll go ahead, tap this for 8. 6 to pay. Doesn't matter too much. Third hoof. And that is lethal? Yep. Oh my goodness. Oh, this feels like the opponents were not ready for the hoof. Alright. Now it is time for some brewing. Well, first let's check what we got in the pack. Anything good? Mythic? Arachnogenesis. Try and get rid of my orb so it's not lit up. Which card do you want to pick up next? Don't think it matters that much. Grab Felthar. And why is the store lit up? Doesn't make any sense. Alright. Jeskai. Actually, let's get rid of that deck. We don't need it. And Jeskai Control is actually, I think, what we're going to tackle right now. We got a new card that actually, let me see if I can pull up the stats here. Do a little bit of movie magic. Go ahead. Here we go. Here's the stats. So this is bronze to mythic. Why is my cursor not showing? Come on. Have it set so that it should. Huh. Anyway, there we go. All right. Anyways, bronze and mythic with the new set. If we're looking at Tarkir Dragonstorm cards, if we're looking at the highest win rate cards included in the decks, one of them being Wild Ride, +3 power. Mono red is kind of the format. So that's pretty good. I'm surprised Fleeting Effigy is among the highest win rate cards, but it makes some sense. It's a good way to repeatedly trigger the Steel Cutter because it bounces back to your hand, similar to the Artifact Samurai, I feel like, from what was it, Kamigawa? And then Corey Steel Cutter, of course. Static Snare, that's 500 games played, so let's just ignore that. And then you're going to see Jeskai Revelation has a ridiculous win rate when it's played. Now, this is actually a bit deceiving because if you go to the card, what it's often actually being played in is it's actually the Omniscience combo decks. So let me actually pull up Omniscience combo deck. Omniscience. You can see the decks are playing. Come on. Why are you like this? Why? well, you can't see what the card says, but they're playing the Jeskai Revelation because one of the things it does is it returns target spell or permanent to its owner's hand, and then deals 4 damage to any target. Create 2 1/1 white monk tokens with prowess, and then draw 2 cards, gain 4 life. So it does a lot of little things, but the fact that it returns target spell or permanent to its owner's hand means that you can use it to go ahead and bounce your Invasion of Arcavios, making it kind of a 1 card. You don't end up needing 2 Invasion of Arcavioses. You don't need to put something in your sideboard that can grab a second Invasion of Arcavios like a tutor. So it simplifies the combo a little bit, making it just a little bit more straightforward to pull off. And the fact that it's being included in these Azorius Omniscience decks is part of the reason why Jeskai Revelations win rate is so high. But that's beside the point. There is some like Jeskai Control decks. I've scrolled down here, you'll see Jeskai Artifacts not playing it, but Jeskai Control right below that playing a full playset of Jeskai Revelation. So that's kind of what we're hoping to achieve, is some kind of cool control deck where we might be playing Shiko, but unfortunately I don't actually have that many copies of it either. So man, my mythics are already pinched. I can't believe it. It is brutal out here. But that's the stats, and that is part of the reason why we're trying this out. But look at that deck. I do like that they're playing Chandra. I don't know why Jeskai Control kind of ends up being like a deck that I have a lot of fun playing, or I've had fun in the past playing, particularly with Chandra. So we're gonna want Chandra. Beza definitely is a good include. Copies of Beza for those aggressive decks. We're gonna play 26 lands, so that means we have a certain number of cards that we can actually fit in. Man. The fact that so many cool mythics to try out, really brutal in terms of, I don't think I actually have the wild cards craft Shiku. Anyways though, we'll grab stock up. I feel like that's an obvious include. We want probably a full set of lightning helix. Because it acts as a removal, gains us some life, so it's good interaction in that regard. Same reason we're gonna want torch, because it's removal that also exiles. And then sweepers. You can see this deck is playing Ill-Timed Explosion. Yes, we could play Ill-Timed Explosion. It's also playing Rediscover the Way. I wonder if we can commit a little bit harder to the Jeskai Revelation, but that's a lot of... I think we only need 3 copies of it, to be honest. I want to try and keep it relatively instant and sorcery heavy, because we have Chandra. What was I using in previous kind of big red control decks to win with Chandra? I know I tried to play formerly, like the big thing was playing Light Up the Night. Worked amazing with Chandra, but fortunately that is no longer a standard legal card. Monument to Endurance, we don't, yeah. What are the cards with mana value X in them? Because if we double up a mana value X spell with Chandra, we should realistically get a bunch of value. Old Soul's Rage is an option. Or is it Jeskai Revelation all we need? Maybe it is just Jeskai Revelation. And we just play a bunch of kind of removal. We want cheap 2 mana instants so that we can play it with Chandra. I think we're gonna play 3 Chandra, 3 Jeskai Revelations. So focus on instant sorceries. 1, 2, 3 around. We need artifact room. Oh, we need like a sweeper for sure. I guess we can do no, I was gonna say Brotherhood's End, but it also hits planeswalkers, so there's that downside. But the reason I was gonna say Brotherhood's End is a good option is because it also hits artifacts potentially. Artifact. What do we have in terms of like blowing up a bunch of artifacts and enchantments? There is no naturalize, unfortunately. There is like cease desist that I guess we could put in the deck, but we don't really have green or black to cast the cease side, so it would just be for the desist side, which doesn't make much sense. I guess we'd play Abrade because it destroys creatures and artifacts. Under the Gateway also potentially works, but it's not an instant. Makes it a little bit worse. We really like 2 mana because then we can play like 2 mana spells in part because then we can play Chandra and then we can +2 Chandra and double cast that 2 mana spell. And then preferably we also have cheap instants. We want to skew towards instants if we can, because then we can get Chandra's static ability on the opponent's turn as well, because it triggers only once each turn. So you can trigger it on your turn as well as the opponent's turn. Change the target of spell. Oh, I remember what we played previously. We played it was return the favor, and then we returned to the favors Chandra's minus ability, which was pretty funny. I do think we want some counter spells, and then I guess the real best one is just No More Lies. Do these control decks play anything else besides No More Lies? They only play 2 copies of No More Lies. Interesting. I think we can play 3. There's no reason we can't play Temporary Lockdown. There's just the downside of it just doesn't work with what am I missing? Oh, instant sorcery. It just doesn't work with Chandra because we can just end up exiling it without being able to cast it. Split up is what the decks are playing. I guess we can play split up, and then we can play. I do like split up plus authority. Then authority makes everything enter tapped, and then you can just cast split up on tapped creatures, and that should get rid of most things. What we can do for other card draw. 2 mana instant sorcery. Has to grab you a card. Curate, deduce. Deduce is nice, but you don't look very deep is one downside. It does allow you to draw a bunch. There is Impulse. Whoa. Okay, Impulse is still in standard. Could play Impulse. But Deduce better because you just get more cards. This allows you to dig for the answer that you need. We'll play some copies of Impulse. I think we need to get lost, remove enchantments, but now we need something to get rid of artifacts as well. Just oops, I said artifacts, not artifact. Exercise works well. All right, this is probably just a mess of cards that is not going to work very well, but we can give it a go. See how it goes. Lands, let's see kind of what they did. Basics, Verge. Only 2 of the Sunbill Verge. And then 2 of each of the Surveil lands. Okay. That makes sense. And we do want Surveil lands, because that gives us multiple land types. And then we can try and tweak the amount to our desired level. All right, what are the color pips that we have? Mostly white, and then kind of an even split between red and blue. So I think we only want 2 River Power Verge, and then something like that, maybe. Early game, we're gonna want pretty steady access to white, so that's gonna be one of the things we probably want to skew towards more. Blue is actually kind of sparse, so we don't think we need to play that many islands. And then, seems close. We'll give it a go. Fastlands. I think since we're playing kind of a control deck, it's not. I don't know. We can try and add some. I feel like it's better though to make sure that you have your untapped lands coming down later on. So also, now that I think about it here, we probably want to get the explosion. Play 2 explosions, just that we have something that can sweep a little bit larger maybe, and it copies up a little bit better with Chandra rather than just split up. Fastlands, I think you might be right that we should at least play some more duels. Chrome Coast. Firewall Canal. Iron Vantage. And cut down basic some. Maybe something like that. And then extra copy here, extra copy here. That good. Maybe something like that. Just a few fast lands to make it a little bit easier to hit all of our different mana sources, so we have more duels. And you know what? We'll just send it into ranked. I almost forgot. What do we want to call this? Oh. Whoops. Okay. Name complete, most important part of the deck. Let's see how this goes. I have not cast this 7 mana Jeskai Revelation before, so this should be interesting. This is opener good. We only have white sources in our opener. Oh, yeah, I forgot to consider what do these verges come in as. I think we got a mulligan. Alright, this hand seems better. We'll get rid of the Revelation for now. Verge. Opponent. Okay, so it looks like our opponent's probably on the token control deck, or the like Boros tokens. Yep, seems to be the case. Lockup is quite nice. Also be a little bit nice if I could find a single one of the our basics or something. We'll take one. Nothing. Okay. Spirebluff Canal. Stock up. That is good. Oh my goodness. This is... Alright, split up will be good because they're a token deck, so they're gonna go wide. And, you know what? We'll grab another Verge. Kind of crazy how many of these come in as, There we go. Alright, we have plenty of lands, I think, in hand at this particular moment. I think we'll get lost the Caretaker's Talent, or they can make a single token, trigger it, and that will hopefully kneecap their ability to draw cards, but that is problematic. We do have Exercise in the deck to help deal with it. Now, I think we're just gonna have to strike things down. Let's lightning strike that. We don't have any card draw, so that's not great. We're gonna hold on to the Get Lost. Hopefully they play out another one of their Caretaker's Talent and we can snipe it. And then we can play down Chandra and Double Helix. Though, here's the opponent is out of things to do, so I guess that's not going to be the case. I don't think I should have used Get Lost like that. You know what actually would also work against the Forge? There's a 1 mana card that is pretty funny. No, okay, well, that's actually perfect. Revelation also works well. I was gonna say, we could also play the Authority of the Consuls if we could find it, but we didn't find it, but that's fine. United Battlefront, that is scary. Okay, maybe Cease Desist is the move, because this is kind of annoying. Opponent has Kellen control. Isn't Kellen banned? It's like a green, blue, white. Alright, Get Lost. Oh, the land drop. Because we want to get rid of this caretaker's talent as soon as possible, but that leaves us with a pretty annoying situation on board. Untapped land means we can cast a lightning helix at least. Oh. Oh, the Boros one that searches for equipment. I guess, yeah, you could tutor up different equipment, but probably should have lightning helix that in response to that, but fine, surely. Honestly, maybe I should just helix the base. We're gonna split up. Oh, helixing one of the creatures saves us some damage here. I'm feeling some regrets in terms of the amount of cards I let them go through, but I just didn't want to waste one lightning helix on a creature. They can activate. Okay, that is good to be. A good place to be. Alright, this is risky, because if they have a get lost, it's kind of sad. Which they probably have a get lost. But at least I can add mana here, and then cast this, destroy all tapped creatures, and then that should protect Chandra, sort of. And then next turn we could copy up Jeskai's Revelation. For Jeskai Revelation to be pretty good. Things are very dead. Yep, they make it. Bunny, Scry. 36 cards deep. I feel like they haven't played much card draw, but they're just so deep in their deck because the amount of maps we gave, because we drew into all three of our get lost. Please leave Chandra alone. You're gonna love. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that works. We didn't get to cast it, but maybe the threat was good enough. Not gonna make any changes at the moment. What were the other things that I had on written down to try? I guess one of the things I wanted to try at some point was the Omniscience combo with the new Jeskai's Revelation. And then I think I also had another list. Oh, Orzhov. Retrying Orzhov. But this time I can play Desperate Measures instead of, what's it called? Playing Desperate Measures instead of, not Village Rites, it's Corrupted Conviction, that we played. And Desperate Measures we can use as removal for the opponents like Heartfire Heroes, but it also works for like sacrificing our creatures and drawing multiple cards. Okay, who played was this CGB doing I think I saw a thumbnail of the token deck, so maybe that's why people are spamming it at the moment. Don't have our counterspell, unfortunately. High Noon. I stopped casting, but it doesn't stop copying. So, fine. We'll grab Get Lost and probably another Get Lost, because the opponent definitely is playing some enchantments, so this should be really handy. So, did they only hit a carrot cake? That's crazy. One of the things I had written down was I want to try out the siege that mills. I feel like that could be fun. Discard 2 cards. Huh. I don't really want to discard a land, but get rid of the dorks and dig through our library a little bit. Maybe that was the wrong move and I could have just held off. And just cast stock up. We have another sweeper, so. We can cast something on their turn, so we just cast stock up, and then on their turn we can cast get lost as soon as they get their thing, and then stock up we can grab one of our lands that we discarded. Helix or get lost. I think get lost is probably a higher value, and then I don't think we need the blue source that desperately. That's a lot of bricks. Stock up is pretty fun in control. So it does make me a little sad that it's sorcery, but come on, it would be completely busted if it was instant speed for 3 mana. So I'm just used to playing at like 4 mana instant speed. Can play Beza, it'll gain us life, and that's kind of it. But it does something. And then next turn we can play the Revelation, which should be quite nice. Still have mana open for Get Lost to handle the Caretaker's Talent. When it sacrifices a creature, preventing us from doing nothing, really. Forge. Yeah, that is kind of annoying because we have not found an answer to said Forge, but we can bounce it with the Revelation to reset its counter at some point, but they can just fountain port the Forge token. That will draw them a card. No fair. Alright, Explosion is quite nice. Let's draw 2, see what we get. We don't have any need to discard. We'll go ahead and attack in. We can just torch the Forge token. At some point, we're going to want to bounce the Forge with the Revelation, but another Forge. Okay. I'm starting to believe that maybe we should just put, like, Desist in this deck and blow up all artifacts and enchantments, because this is back-to-back Forges. Opponent doesn't have their what's it called? Caretaker's Talent, but they still have fountain port to sacrifice these tokens repeatedly, which is frustrating. I think we will win this race though. If it keeps going like this. Chandra. And maybe another Chandra. Feels a little overkill, but come on. Play Chandra, +1 it. They have Judgment, that's fine. Still have High Noon, so if we play out Chandra, they could hit Chandra, but I think we need to. I just wanted Jeskai's Revelation on their upkeep. Or I guess we can do it at another time. I don't know. Alright, do we have enough mana to also get lost? We do. Alright. I'm a little bit nervous that I'm going to play Chandra, take it up, and then get rid of my Authority of the Consuls, which I feel like is our best answer to the situation here, but see what we get in terms of cards. Value before our Chandra goes. No More Lies is quite nice. Carrot Cake. We can double get lost. So if they're coming at Chandra with the Forge tokens, we do give them a bunch of map tokens, but we can keep Chandra alive. Then next turn we double Revelation, which I think makes it worth it. This feels bad. But the opponent's going to want to sack these to the Fountain Ports, potentially, so maybe that will save us from giving them a bajillion tokens. No? How dare you, opponent. You're supposed to sack them in response. Of course, they can just sack the map tokens to the Fountain Port draw card. Or cards, rather. Oh. Caretaker's talent has been located. They could still get rid of my Chandra with High Noon, but they choose not to. And you know what? We'll take that. We will take that, because that means we get to do some quite fun things. We want a +1 Chandra. I think we +1 Chandra. Alright. Return start spell or permanent to its owner's hand. It deals 4 damage to any target. Create 2/1/1. Draw 2 cards. Gain 4 life. So we'll bounce the Forge, deal 4 to their creature. Draw 2, gain. So return this. Deal 4. And then we repeat this, and we're going to deal 4 again to the token. Bounce the Forge, deal 4. And then we're going to draw 4. I don't think they can, as long as we have a legal permanent, or like target, they can't fizzle it by sacrificing that, so still fine. And let's go. Let's go. All right, that felt great. But I kind of wish we could actually play out the game, opponent, please. I just want to see what it does. If it's actually winning us games, or if we're just winning games by not dying. At least it is a good finisher to copy up with Chandra. We haven't had the best of options in Standard. Alright, Authority of the Consuls, that would have been nice for like the past few games, but it's fine. We have it now. Oh no. Now the opponent's not going to be playing Forge. You're playing Mono Black. Okay, that slows down the Rakshasa. Or Rakshasa. Shasa. You can get lost the Annex if they play it. Okay, they are a renew deck, maybe. Opponent didn't like the Authority. I don't know. Don't know. But it's another win, I guess. Good place to be. I'll play one more game with this deck, and then I want to try out a few more things before we call it. Oh shoot. I gotta do the sponsor read. Surprise. We'll do it at the beginning of this game. So sponsor of stream, or I guess a sponsor, is the Sorcerer's Field Guide from Ivory Tower Games. Now, Magic can feel overwhelming when you first start. There's so many cards, mechanics, strategies, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Sorcerer's Field Guide from Ivory Tower Games is a guide to Magic the Gathering designed to help you understand Magic from the ground up. Everything from how to play, deck building, to mastering different strategies. So if you're new to Magic, this book will walk you through the fundamentals, explain key mechanics in a way that actually makes sense, and help you to avoid common beginner mistakes. Oh no, we're into red. Beza does seem pretty good. But yeah, help you avoid common beginner mistakes. And so if you're tired of asking that one guy about the rules, or if you're getting a friend or family member into Magic, make your game nights go smoother, and check out the Sorcerer's Field Guide using my link below, which also helps support the channel. Thank you guys. And dear God, that is double hard claw. I don't know where we go from here, but I think the first thing is countering. No! How lame. Opponent read me like a book. Alright, we're just gonna hold up no more lies. I don't think we have the life total to spare to stock up here. Okay. Sorry, I was drinking some water. We are alive, and that's an ill-timed explosion. Beza into ill-timed explosion, or ill-timed explosion into Beza? You do 3 damage, so we have to get rid of like stock up. And maybe impulse, and then we have lightning strike and Bezas. Yo. Or maybe we don't need double Beza. We just get rid of Beza and impulse. Look at that. 4 damage. I'll take 1. We're down to 6. They have 2 cards in hand. It could be double bolt wave, but come on. Be friends, opponent. Up to 10, we have a 4/5 blocker. Exercise, I guess that works alright. If they get a big creature, we can get rid of it. Though a lot of their getting big is temporary. Alright, stock up is an okay, are we gonna actually survive off of such a terrible hand? That is crazy. Alright, land drop sounds good. Land this. And could swing in. Or I could just play safe. Don't think we're at threat of dying just because we have so much life gain. So I think we can play the long game here and just chillax. Exercise only deals with creatures power 4 or greater. Rock-based village is a bit spooky, but we can do it. Oh, that's a card we forgot about. The new blue land. We should include that in the deck so we can make our stuff uncounterable. Let's get rid of that Heartfire Hero opponent. Valiant Trigger's already gone. They could Monstrous Rage it, but it only goes up to 2 power. It does, or sorry, 2 toughness. And Chandra should be kind of the finishing move here. Because then we can Jeskai's Revelation twice next turn. Okay, I think I found the deck that I'm going to play to Mythic. This is good stuff. And, bye. GG. Okay, well, kind of went on a bit of an undefeated streak with the deck, which is quite fun. What? Oh, did untap not track? Let's see. No, yeah, 4-0. That's pretty good. do want to try some other things. I got a comment of someone sharing their it was a raise the pass deck using the mobilize mechanic, and they shared their list, and so I wanted to try it out. So shout out to Sazger, I think. The call it Sazger Past. And one thing that I didn't think about that I thought was pretty cool from the deck is using Delny to double up the triggers of all of our different creatures. That works quite well with well, obviously the Voice of Victory, getting your double your mobilize triggers, double your life gain triggers, double your drain triggers, double your card steal triggers, double your surveil triggers. So lots of ways to double things up. Also, I didn't play Avenger of Fallen in the deck, partially because it was 3 mana, but I do think that we can afford to just kind of play less into Raise the Past because it feels like it's relatively strong as is. So Hornblade Berserker. This deck, are you talking about, Skylark? The kind of mobilize Raise the Past deck? We have 2 Alasso cores. What was it? Scornblade Berserker. I feel like we don't need this card. That would be like the one thing I'd change up, is just go for like another gnawing vermin or something. Okay, yeah. That's good to hear. That's what the Zasker said, was that this deck treated them quite well. Let me see if I can quote what they said. And made it to diamond easy. Now it's slowing down though due to the prevalence of lockdown. So if we run into temporary lockdown, it'll probably be a little bit brutal, but we'll see how we can do. I'm gonna play a full playset of the concealed courtyard because I think that can't hurt. How many lands are we playing? 22, so that seems right about accurate. 1-man land. Actually a very well put together deck, I feel like. So let's give it a try. Now, I do feel like we might be able to cut like Raise the Past entirely from these kinds of decks and just rely on putting things into the graveyard and then build it into more of like Avenger of the Fallen as our kind of other payoff. But I do think that we probably should still play maybe a copy or 2 Raise the Past regardless. We don't have much mill, but I'm not gonna try and mulligan. Oh no, it's Borosaurus. That's not good. We'll play the tap land into the Sanctifier unless we draw a 1-drop here. Okay. Opponent really in the think tank about what they're gonna play here. Sheltered by Ghosts. Kind of annoying. Once we get Avenger of the Fallen down though, it'll be nice to have a Death Touch blocker with relatively high toughness. I do think that's another kind of underrated thing about this card. Sure, the mobilize triggers like intriguing on all, but 2/4 Death Touch is a pretty good stat line. Alright. Gotta stop blocking the entire screen. Manifold Mouse turn 2. Or no, turn 3 rather. No mouse to pair it with though. So at least we avoid that. Opponent, you can't actually target your scavenger, so maybe they had the card that gives haste. Raise the past is quite nice. That means we can block with the Avenger of the Fallen without too much concern. Delny. I don't know why I can't, for the life of me, remember to call this Delny, not Delaney. Or, yeah, I feel like that's what I end up saying. That's scary. Okay, well, okay, we get it. You have a big scavenger, and I think there's literally nothing we can do, so I think we're just dead. That's first strike. Darn it. Alright, your opponent, you're taking quite a bit here, and I think I'm toast. Want to get at least one game in where we actually get to trigger our mobilize shenanigans. Alright, excellent hand. Alright, keep. We run out the Snarling Gorehound into the Voice of Victory, into Delny. Got Gandalf over there. Kind of wish there was more animations in some of the newer stuff that they add to Arena. So I understand that the game's designed to be playable on the phone, so. That is no good for us, but we'll be okay. Don't need a fortress here. Next turn we can play out both the Hinterland Sanctifier and the last Ilk Core. Probably worth. No! Why you have to be this way? 07. Bye bye, Voice of Victory. Or this should double trigger the Gorehound at least. Another Voice of Victory. I feel like that might be too late. Okay, let's try it. We're at risk though. Opponent can pump out a lot of damage quite quickly. Speaking of which, I do want to try Mono Red with the new pump spell. I know it's kind of degenerate, but can play the Cacophony Scamp and see what happens. Can we win? Can you stop murdering my creatures? It's gonna drive me insane, opponent. Already having last core. Can't believe the opponent has had the removal right when they needed it. It's a tap land. Let's get rid of that. Don't really intend to block with the creatures we have that much, so. No blocks. Double pump. Or burn spells. Range. And burst lightning. Gosh darn it. They've killed a creature every single turn. Kind of crazy. Oh. Okay. I'll keep that on top, I think. Roll some of their cards, maybe. Want to keep that. A little, obnoxious that trying to keep it on top, but makes a good blocker. Opponent's going to kill a last level 4. Oh, they chose not to discard. Interesting. Peak Cavern Bat, that feels useless at this moment. Attack to get our life gain triggers and we can mill. Land is nice, but do need some real action. We're going up in life total and we're starting to chip away. But I feel like if the opponent had a bit more aggressive cards, we would have been in a bad spot here. Could have a... Okay, well, grabbing back Rage I don't think makes too much of a difference for us. We can just block. They rage this goes up to 5 power. This goes up to 3. That puts us 8 damage. I think we don't even really need to block. I mean, I can block with a Gorehound or Gnawing Vermin because there's pretty much no cost to it. But yeah, we win on the crackback and they can't finish us off. Okay, GG, we did it. Not bad. All right, now do you think one thing I want to try and do is slap together a few decks while we are here. I had some lists for ideas, so wanted to play. Oh, I forgot those are called sieges. Glacierwood Siege. So the interesting thing about Glacierwood Siege is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 4 cards. So this could work to just be like a finisher. You just mill the opponent out by casting cards. And I was thinking, okay, if we want to try and achieve that, we could also play United Battlefront to find it. So you look at the top 7 non-creature, non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less, and put 2 of them onto the battlefield. So that works well to search up the siege, but then you can also search up other things. Don't want to fill up the deck. Temporary. I don't know how to spell. Lockdown. Oh wait, it's a new set. I was like, what? Here we go. Temporary lockdown. The nice thing about United Battlefront is it can also find temporary lockdown, which is helpful in a pinch to get rid of all those enchantments and artifacts, those cutters and stuff. So play that, and then we want to play maybe a few more 3 mana value permanents. That aren't creatures in these colors. Do need card draw of some sort, probably. So we could just play like Caretaker's Talent and then play spells that create tokens, maybe. But are there that many spells that create tokens? I guess you have... that creates a token for your opponent. That creates a token for your opponent. Thunder the Gateway could work. Kayla's Command. Not a lot of these create tokens for you. At least as like a little additional. Usually kind of the main focus. Draw a card, create food. But we do need a draw engine of some sort. Any ideas? guess United Battlefront is like card advantage in a way. And then we can just play like Jace as a planeswalker, and that'll give us card advantage technically as well. We're playing a mill deck. We should probably play Jace. And then do you want to play something that adds mana? I think we're going to end up playing Ancient Cornucopia, because I don't think we have much else that is that crazy good. Cultivator's Caravan, Bandit's Hall. Target player mills 4 cards. That actually kind of works well with the Hall. Though, if we play Cornucopia, we can gain a bunch of life. Is the alternative. Could split. Could split between Bandit's Hall and the Cornucopia. I guess the question is the life gain important? Which I think it might be. We'll start with a full play set. And now we just need instant and sorceries in whatever mana value that's probably not too expensive. And we need these for removal purposes, so good removal. Well, I guess Get Lost is pretty decent. It's not, I mean, giving the opponent's maps always is so bad, but Exile. Whoa. Exile. Exercise, not on my watch. Oh. Let's remove the mana restriction. I don't think it's that crucial. Ride's End, I'm tempted to play. Oh, no more lies. I think we want to play those. Cease Desist. I guess we can play that as well. It's just some graveyard hate. Though, I don't know. We'll play one copy. Do want to be able to deal with artifact. So I guess we're going to be able to handle them for relatively well. I gotta stop adding an S. Artifact. Heritage Reclamation is kind of a new card that can hit on a bunch of things, so I do think we want to try that. I don't think we need a bunch of copies of it, but we can always cast it, which is a nice upside, because we can just cast it to draw a card. Do we want Smite? I'll play 2 copies of Smite. Oh yeah, Stock Up. Of course we should play Stock Up. I don't think we need that many cornucopias, to be honest. Go down to Jace, maybe. And then want more removal. Like 2 mana removal if we can. Creature. I think I'm just gonna play the Ride's End. There we go. Oops. Can't add that much, unfortunately. But yeah, we have no cheap artifact or stuff that's going to get picked up by the lockdown. A bit of ramp. And we have Glacierwood Siege, which we can find with United Battlefront. As well as our ramp. United Battlefront might not be the best here. Cease Desist, that can blow up a bunch of stuff. Something a bit like this, and then we got to fix the lands. The hard part. We want to play Verges. Definitely those. We're mostly, yeah, mostly white and blue. And then a light splash of green. Then I'll play Verges. Oops, not Verges. The Surveil lands. Full place of Meticulous Archive, and then 2 copies of Hedge Maze, and then oops, not untapped. I don't think this actually helps that much. I guess we can play a Mistrise Village. The kicks. And then full place of Seacrum Coast, maybe. Grab an island. Okay, oops, there you go. Do we have enough green sources? Probably not. Huh. Alright. Whoa. The white-green untapped land, I think I'm going to try and include. I guess I could play Flush Portico as well. What do we have? Hedge Maze? Nah. Right. I think maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. That's Mill. Give it a quick test run. And then I think that will be where I call it. Oh no. Alright, now that mana's not that bad. I was looking at a bunch of green sources that we didn't need. These 3-color decks, I find it so hard to make the mana base. I'm gonna hold up No More Lies. No. Playing nothing with this much mana is confusing. Oh, that doesn't add the mana I need. Makes sense. Grab the Glacier Wood Siege and maybe a Surveil End. Oh no, we have to discard. Well, the Reclamation is probably not going to be very useful. Here comes the damage. Get rid of the Reclamation. Archive into removal maybe, or I guess we could play out United Battlefront to try and grab a temporary lockdown if necessary. 4 mana. And nothing? Nothing really? Alright, well, I guess Jace has to be answered, so we'll eat some removal, flash damage, and if they don't answer it, we just draw some cards. Full lightning strike at Jace, and we start the milling. Okay, here finally comes the creatures. So I could play Tapland into Ancient Cornucopia. Jace is kind of what we want to do. And then we can hold up United, or Ride's End. You exile the Swift Spear. Could also try and counter, but hold off. Alright, they're not going to activate their Sanctuary, which is their Soulstone Sanctuary, so we're in a decent spot. Take our action to gain our life. And we can play the Glacierwood Siege and maybe United Battlefront. Yeah, we can do that. Go ahead and gain 2. Might be a little bit greedy, but mill. Relock down. There we go. Didn't hit big, but we hit something. I feel like we need to grab removal. Okay, get lost does work. We do it in response to them targeting the Heartfire hero. Still activate their Soulstone Sanctuary, but I have 18 cards in their graveyard. Maybe we need more card draw. Soulstone Sanctuary will be tapped unless they have a land, but I think they played a rock-based village for turn. Yeah. Right. Excellent. I guess this mills them more so that we end up drawing more. Oh, and it scoops it up. Alright, well, we got there with mill, sort of. I don't know. I feel like we probably weren't going to win that game, but GG. That is Vant Mill, maybe? Just maybe? But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with me and watching the stream. Do let me know what you want to see me play. Just in general, if you have anything that you've been really enjoying or you want to see me try out, let me know. And also don't forget to let me know what you want to see me play in a standard event this weekend. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Take care of yourself. Ciao.